Okay, if you've been following along here, you just finished the video where we added some validation to the form. Finally, let's add some simple authentication just in case you're working with data that's proprietary. You may have signed a non-disclosure agreement. This is just one of many ways to do this. This is just something you can use in this class for your final project if you want to do something very basic. So here's how it works. Let's grab, I'm going to collapse this table here. Let's grab a couple of panels here, ASP.NET panels. I'm going to put this, put it right here at the top. Let's make two of these. All right. Panel, we'll call this one the login panel. Whoops. And panel logged in. All right. So, login, if we're logged in, we're going to show everything that we're just working on. Right? I'm going to tab this in. There we go. If we need to log in, I'm just going to make another very simple table. Email, oops, and then grab a text box, text email, password, text password. A couple properties we need to set here. Go into the properties window and let's see here, what am I looking for? Text mode, single line, change this one to password. So it hides it just like the form control password. Okay, next I need a button. Let me show you a split view here while we're doing this so you can see what's going on. Okay, so right here, let's grab the login button, drop it in there. Button login. Okay, so this is just going to be a session-based login. Double click here on the button. That's going to create our event handler down here for it. What I want to do is simply let's pull from a valid username and password in a database, and let's make sure that we're hashing the password. And if it's valid, we'll show one panel and hide the other, and if not, then we'll do the reverse. So here's how this works. When the page loads, also here, if it's on every load, not just if it's a post back or not, we should check and see if the session variable that shows that they're logged in is valid. So let's have an if statement here, and inside this we're going to say if session, and we're going to make a session name called logged in. Session logged in. Let's make it a Boolean. So what we can do is say convert to Boolean. Whoops, I lost my session there. There we go. There we go. If that is true, we don't have to put the equals true. It's implied by that. Then we're going to say panel logged in dot visible. Whoops. Visible equals true, and panel login dot visible. Oh gosh, come on. Visible. There we go. Equals false. Otherwise, do the reverse. Oops, not enter. There we go. All right, perfect. So let's come down here now, and so it's going to do that check now when the page loads and only show the one that should show. So let's run that and just show you how that works. Okay, perfect. That just pulled up. It's showing the login panel, not the other panel. Perfect. That's what we want. And right now the button's not doing anything, so nothing changes. Okay, let's stop that application, and let's go down here and implement the login button. So what I want to do is in our database, let's create a users table. New table. We'll say, I hate the word user. We'll call it customer ID. Int. Make an identity. Beautiful. We're going to say email and varchar password and varchar. Okay, let's save that as bike buyers customer. Now what I want to do, we never store, I'm not going to worry about making a registration page or anything like that, but when we store user customer account information, we should not be storing plain text passwords. Instead, we should be storing hashes of them. So let me see if I can find an SHA hash generator. Looks like this will work. I think C# will make a 512 for us. So let's put in the password I used for the database earlier, temporary 415, SHA5. There we go. There's our hash for it. So I'm going to copy that. Go back here to the database, close that out, refresh. Database customer, there it is, edit. And let's have a class email is415@byu.edu, and I'll put my hash in there. Oh, is it too long? Oh, I better, sorry. Design, better fix it. Oh yeah, of course, that was way more than 50 characters. Forgot what I was doing there. I'm sure 500 is probably too many, but that's fine. Save. Close. Perfect. Try and paste it now. There we go. Now it's happy. Okay, got that in there. Let's minimize that and head back here. So they click the login button. We need to make a connection to our database and pull up and see if there's a record for that. So I'm going to copy my code up here. Make our database connection. This time I'll say cmd equals new SQL command. I'll put the command right here in this one. And let's say select all, I guess, from bike buyers customer, where, let's make sure we use parameterized queries here to protect against SQL injection. So we're going to say where email, it might be a reserved word, I don't know, so we'll put it in that. Email equals @e and password equals @p. Okay, so con.open. Oh no, hold on, before we get into this, one sec. Now what we need to do is add parameters for email and password. So we're going to say SQL parameter email equals new SQL parameter, and we're going to give it a name, which is, it has to match the parameter there in the query, @e, and then give it a value, text email. And what this does is by using parameters, it will break that, whatever they put into that email box, down into its byte stream, and well, it'll make sure that they can't perform a SQL injection attack. Honestly, I'm not going to tell you I fully understand the process. I could look it up, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's make one for both email and password, text password. Okay, we'll call this one PW. Now we need to add these parameters to the query. So we're going to say cmd.parameters.add email, and then the password.parameters.add password. Whoa, 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 easy password. Okay, so we don't actually want to put the straight password in right here, right? Because in the database we've stored a hashed version of it. So what we need to do, we need to hash this thing first. So I've got a function I've used before right here. I just pasted it in. I don't want you to have to type this by hand, so I went ahead and made a text file version of it and put it here in the book. If you're on this chapter right now, here's where that shows up. You can download this and copy and paste it in. And essentially now we just want to simply use this function. Actually, change this. Sorry. Protected. That'll work. And we want to call SHA 512. Come on. There we go. Around that. Perfect. So this is going to take a source text, that password, and it's going to return back the hashed version in SHA 512 form. So it should match up what we have in the database. All right, now clearly I'm doing this super lazy man method by putting everything in the same file. I've got a bunch of functions in here that really should go in different places. If you want to convert what we're doing here to MVC or something, obviously you're going to save these functions in other places than this. But anyway, for now we can do it the lazy way and just keep it right here. So I think we're good to go. Let's open up the connection. Con.open. Oops. Let's make sure we close it down here. Now let's say cmd equals dr.execute. What's my problem here? cmd.execute reader. And then dr will say if dr.read. So in other words, I better wrap that in parentheses. In other words, if it can find something and returns it, we're going to do one thing. Dr, what does it want here from me? Oh, have I not declared it yet? Oh no, it's right there. What's wrong with that? All right, hold on. Else, all right, if it reads it and finds it, then we're going to go ahead and change the set the session variable logged in equal to true. Otherwise, we're going to set the session equal to false. And we'll run our, I guess we'll just repeat it right now because it's not going to, no it will, it should rerun this because when we click the login button, it should check it again. Let's see. Okay, I think we might be good except for what's my problem here, what am I forgetting? If dr.read, oh yeah, like I was doing before, it's supposed to be dr. All right, here it's the data reader equals cmd.execute reader. There we go. If it reads, great. If not, logged in false. And you know, we better have a an error message. Oops, let me close that out. We better come back here into the default screen and under the login, let's add another row right here, and let's give it a label. Let's tell him we couldn't find him. Label login result, and let's tell them right here label login result.text equals no record found, or something like that, whatever you feel like. Okay, let's go ahead and run this and see if I missed something here. Oh, already I realized I forgot to close my data reader. Yep, I'll remember to do that when I get back. I'll pause this while this is finished. Okay, one error I realized I forgot is, if you probably caught this earlier if you're following along, I accidentally made my password parameter, I made it @e, like my email. So instead of being @p right here like it was supposed to be for password, I had this one @e, so I just barely fixed that, restarted it. Let's give this another shot. is415 at byu.edu and temporary 415. Must not have found me. All right, so let me debug by seeing what it's trying to use for the password here. So I'm going to close this out, see if that worked, or see what I did here. So what I'm going to do is say, all right, no record found. Actually, no, it did work. Sorry, it didn't print this out. I forgot I had that right there. It just didn't refresh the screen. So if true, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy, if they're logged in, copy this right down to here. Paste that in. So otherwise it's not refreshing it. So here, logged in set to true, show it, no record found. I'm also just going to print out the hash just so I can take a look at it and see if I got that right. Line break, and let's see what it's trying to use for the password here. That gives me trouble. All right, let's try it one more time. Okay, so let's put in something wrong first. I'll do the right email though, at byu.edu, and I'll put just test for the login. Okay, no record found, and here's what an SHA 512 hash looks like. Big, long, ugly thing. So it was trying to compare that against what it had here for my record, and it says, yeah, it doesn't match because the hash here is different. Good. So let's change it to the right one now. Temporary 415. Login. Beautiful. Yes, say my password. Nice. So now I've got a password protected prediction calculator that is totally validated. No way to mess this thing up. This is a good example, although it's not very pretty and you could improve the design quite a bit. But this is an example of what I'll be looking for on the final project. It's bare bones. There'll be a few other things required on the final, but for the prediction calculator portion, let's make sure that it's fully validated and password protected. And let's use that class email and temporary 415 as a password that the TAs can use to get your site and everything. Anyway, I hope this works. Come and talk to me in class if you run into any problems.